gentlemen, welcome to another, hopefully, exciting episode of Smoky Dave Presents. I'm wearing my Smoky Dave t-shirt, and you can get one too down in the links down below. And I wanted to let everyone know that Smoky Dave Cheese Limited LLC is a real company now. I'm already starting to do all the various paperwork and stuff like that to get the company going, to build a new building with a kitchen in it, and I'll be doing all of the videos from that once that's complete. So just wanted to let y'all know that we're moving forward. You probably have noticed that my videos are not coming out quite as often, and that's probably going to be the case for the next year, probably only about 2 per month now. Just because there's so much work to do to get the company going. But anyway, let's get started with the video. And don't forget, it's no joke. Everything's better with smoke. Smoking! Well, ladies and gentlemen, here is our ingredients for our French onion soup, and of course the star of the show, our onions. I've got 7 fairly large yellow onions here. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to skin these, cut them in half, and get them on the smoker for about an hour. And then we'll finish slicing them up. For our broth, we'll be using a mixture of chicken bone broth and some quality beef bouillon. You can use beef stock, you can use beef bone broth, you can use all chicken, doesn't matter. I'm going to use a mix. We'll be using a standard French bread loaf. We'll be making some thick slices and toasting that up. And coating them with some amazing smoked cheese. We got some Jorgenson, which is very much like a Swiss cheese. And of course, Gruyere. And we're going to combine both of those. We got some dry sherry. You can use port, you can use vermouth, you can use just cooking wine, but this is traditionally what's used. And I'll be frying up those onions in some butter and olive oil. So let me get these finished and we'll get out to the smoker. There's a few other ingredients and seasonings that we'll put in, but I just wanted to demonstrate the main ingredients here. And we're going to make it smoky, because of course this is Smoky Dave. We got to smoke them onions. Let's get it done. We will get started by cutting these onions in half from top, where the stem came out, to the root, which will make it much easier after smoking to slice into our little slices. Now I'm going to remove the skins and all the inedible bits on each end, but make sure you remove all of the tough outer layer of onion skin, as that just doesn't cook right and will remain leathery, and nobody wants that in their soup. I've had restaurant soups that have had a bit of this tough outer onion skin, and it's just not pleasant. You got to pick it out of your mouth, and yeah, nobody wants that. It's a rather cool winter day, and I am smoking the onions for just an hour. I'll be using a batch of pure applewood chips today, and just letting the smoke run nice and even, which basically means I'll be exhausting the smoke from the top of the smoker at the same rate that the smoke is entering the smoker from the bottom. And this should just give a nice, sweet smoke to the onions. Well, the onions are now fully smoked. And look at the nice color on them. I'm going to slice these up now, and because of the way we split the onions, this is very easy to do. Just lay it down on the flat side and slice away, and now you have these perfect C-shaped pieces of onion for your onion soup. And once they are all sliced, I'll just place them in this cast iron pot, which we'll be using to caramelize them. Now, it's time to caramelize these beautiful, smoky, sexy onions. Oh yeah. We start with half a stick of butter, which I'll melt in the microwave, and while that's going on, I pour in a 1/4 cup of olive oil. What makes this even sexier is we'll be using some dry sherry a little bit later here in the recipe, so we could pretend we are snooty French chef. My apologies to any of my French viewers.
All right, so these are starting to sweat out now. And they'll steam a little bit, which is why I put the top on. Now, a lot of recipes calling for adding a little bit of sweet umami. A lot of times they'll just put in some molasses or some brown sugar. I'm going to use a little black sweet soy sauce.
As the onions begin to cook, I covered them to allow the steam to start softening them. But now I'm going to add some umami flavor as well in the form of some sweet black soy sauce. But you can use like Aminos or Marmite or Vegemite, or of course you can use the molasses as well as the brown sugar. However you like, you don't have to even add it at all if you like a more savory dish. As the onions cook, we'll also need to make the broth. So in another pot, I have started heating up the 4 cups of chicken broth and made 4 additional cups of beef broth and mixed them together. Now the onions are done, and we need to deglaze the pot by adding our 2 shots of dry sherry and mixing in the brown bits stuck to the bottom of the pot. And this will add some amazing additional flavor to the onions. As you can see, they are perfect. They're translucent, soft, and just starting to caramelize. Exactly what we're looking for. So once we've completed the deglazing process, then of course we'll add our broth to it and then the rest of our ingredients. Now that the onions are fully caramelized and deglazed, I'm going to go ahead and add that 8 cups of broth that was heating up in the other pot there.
We're going to add half a tablespoon of minced garlic, half a teaspoon of dried thyme, half a teaspoon of black ground pepper, half a teaspoon sea salt, 2 bay leaves. Mix those in.
Now the soup needs to come up to a simmer and continue to cook at that level for the next 30 minutes. So I'm going to stop mixing this here and put the top on, and it is at a simmer now, and we'll just let that go for 30 minutes. I'm going to slice this nice soft loaf of French bread into about 1 inch to 1.5 inch thick slices. Then each of these is going to get a pat of butter and go into the broiler to get toasted.
Time to get these toasted.
So while the soup continues to simmer and our French bread is toasting, I'm going to use an ordinary cheese slicer on its thinnest setting and make 2 slices each of the Jorgenson and the Gruyere cheese. And these will sit upon the French bread, which will in turn be floating on our onion soup. And then we'll broil the whole thing to perfection. Now, with the French bread toasted and the onions and broth fully cooked, it's time to assemble our French onion soups.
Soup's on.
So using a couple of earthenware bowls that we can safely put back into the oven, I will fill them with just 1/2 inch from the top. Then I will float one of the French bread on each of the bowls and then layer on the cheese. These, of course, will go back into the oven, set on broil, until the cheese is bubbly and starting to brown on top. So first let me get these bowls filled, and then we'll get started in the final steps. The soups are carefully placed on my very hot pizza stone on broil. Then we'll carefully watch them until the cheese is bubbling on top and just starting to brown. Well, the soup is done and ready to eat. I'll just garnish with a bit of ground black pepper and some chives. Well, let's see what Smoky Dave really thinks about this soup.
Look at that cheese. A little juice on there. Oh my gosh, that's good. The onions are smoky. It comes right through. Not too strong, but just right. And the smoky cheese on top of the bread. Oh man, that's some good eating. Well, if you excuse me, I'm gonna have dinner. Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, while he rocks out, I just hope you enjoyed how to make a wonderful smoky French onion soup. And let me tell you what, it's definitely worth the extra bit of work because I don't know how to describe to you how good it is, but it is delicious. And really, the only way you'll know is if you try it for yourself. So anyway, until next time, don't forget, it's no joke. Everything's better with smoke.